Hey everybody, welcome to the Shrewdness. I'm Pru, joined by Dex and Chiz, and we're back for another episode. We're here to talk to you about E-Team Fantasy Football. The season is upon us, gentlemen. So
Yep.
we're going to talk tonight a lot about draft strategy. A lot of you will have fantasy football and or guillotine fantasy football drafts coming up in the next couple weeks. So we want to talk a little bit about our strategies and what you should be thinking about. Definitely in the first couple of rounds, but then as you go through your draft, who are you targeting? What are you looking for? So we'll go into that in a little more detail as we get started. And then we want to talk about some movers and shakers. So if you've been following along, we've got an overall draft ranking, all the players that will likely be drafted in your guillotine draft coming up. All those are available for free on our website, which we'll link in or we have been linking and will continue to link in our episodes. So check those out, download them for free, use them to your advantage. That's what they're there for.
Use them to win your league, which will definitely happen.
Except our league.
Our
Right.
rankings.
Don't use it to beat us in our own league. That'd be
right.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing.
I mean, it's gonna
Anyway,
be
so we'll
kinda
talk
hard
about
to not
we'll
get
talk about
sniped.
some guys that have moved around this week and improved or decreased their draft status.
I thought you were going to say deproved.
Deproved? No. I
was
thought
just
about
checking.
it, but I'll just have to edit
I was
it
going
out.
to say deproved. This is going to be great.
I love it. Deprove.
So
Deprove a lot of things.
As you probably know, things change quickly in the NFL, and we're like midway through the preseason games and so forth. So a lot of dynamics still happening on depth charts and all that, and you'll want to get the latest before you go through your draft. So be sure to tune in and check those rankings over the next couple weeks.
Sounds good. All right. Let's
That's
jump
right.
into our draft strategy stuff. So it's kind of like overall first, and then we'll kind of go with kind of where you are in the draft. We're going to focus on guillotine because you got absurd amount of sources if you're just doing a normal fantasy league. But for guillotine, not too many. So we're going to let you know what's up because it's still a relatively new format. Yahoo just started theirs this year.
Are you not going to address where I'm sitting right now? Are we really just going to
we normally, so you're in a
Are we really just going to pretend like I'm not in prison right now?
The El Salvadorian prison where Chisholm's at. Like, he got on a removal
Brazilian.
flight. He's living down there in Brazil in the El Salvadorian prison outside of Brazil because that's what makes it confusing is when I mix up geography. I want to make sure he's not in Russia or
Brazil,
Poland.
El Salvador. It's all
you're
down there.
You're closer to there than you are when you're here. So, yeah.
Correct. You know what?
How's the neighborhood?
Well, it's great. But I'll tell you, I just realized when I got down here that I timed this trip about 3 weeks too early because in this very city where I am, the Chiefs are playing the Chargers in week 1.
Yeah,
what?
September 5th, I think.
And
that's week 1?
Week 1, they're playing right here, and what am I doing here now? I'll tell you what I was doing. I'll tell you what I was doing. The club gave me a call. They had me come in, scout a little bit, check the field out. I was giving them a report. On the area. I did some cutting, quick cuts right and left on the field. I've sent a turf report.
So you're in a hospital is where you are. Okay, now it's more clear. It's all coming together.
It looks like a hospital behind you a little bit.
So after I snapped my Achilles, I ended up here. So yeah, I'm in Brazil, but this is how dedicated we are to the Shrewdness and giving you the finest in fantasy content. It doesn't matter where we are in the world, we will be coming to you with the best.
Yeah.
So today, like the guys said, we're going to be talking draft strategy. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, I mean,
let's do it.
We did a vote on the best guillotine sports podcast, just voted amongst ourselves just to see what we thought. Unanimous. The Shrewdness is the #1 guillotine podcast out there. So who knew? Man, I was shocked by the results. Yeah, it was unbelievable. And I don't know why the vote was 2-1, but still, it was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet. We took it by a hair. So you got to get that swing vote, baby. So that's why we had to get down there.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's get back on the rails here real quick. So general draft strategy, you want high floors. We talk about that all the time. You want stability. You want to be able to predict outcomes. So you want actual starters. So when you're drafting a guillotine, the first 8 rounds, unlike other formats, you need 8 starters. They need to be in a lineup in week 1, not questionable, not a rookie that has a chance of making that slot receiver spot, and you're hoping for the best. He might carve out a role as the goal line back. No, man, you are taking starters. Even if they're on ratty teams, you need someone that's at least going to be moving the chains for those ratty teams. And you just take the higher floor because you can't get a 0. If you get zeros, you still be able to get what? The 7 to 9 points in week 1.
About,
the first couple.
Yeah, about 9 points for the first couple weeks, and you're pretty safe.
Yep. So you're counting on your stars to kind of hook you up, but you need to have a roster. If you start doing these guys, so you're like, oh no, I'm just going to take Jordan Addison. He's so good. I'm going to take him in round 5 or 6. Okay, you can do that in a traditional league because you can keep getting enough, and the pool's smaller because you're never playing in an 18-person league. So the talent is just too skinny to do that. So with a 10-person or 12-person league that's pretty standard, typical, you can take those chances earlier and kind of wait on them. Brandon Ayuk, Jordan Addison, take Rashee Rice for his first 3 weeks, and then he's gone for X amount of days. I mean, not worse than an injury. You don't know if he's coming back at all. We won't know until the end of September.
Right.
So you just have to be smart, and it's a totally different rearranging of your brain if you haven't done this type of style before in format. You just have to take high floors and steady production. The non-sexy names, man. Chuba Hubbard is fantastic. And if we go down our list, like, let's look at our round 5s. Tony Pollard, Jalen Warren. Let's go down to round 7s. So,
it's not
Michael
gonna get
Pippen,
just super
Jerome
excited.
Fords. No, Damian Pierce, Tank Bigsby, baby. Ray Davis. Like, these are household names. Like, why would I draft them? Because, frankly,
you're
at this point,
kind of going to have to choke a little bit to get it out. You're going to be like,
yeah. Well, it's funny if you look a few more rounds. Exactly. You look a few more rounds down and like, oh, that's why. Yeah. Let me do that. Because I have to take Tampa's 3rd string running back, who's probably still going to get some carries. There's nothing wrong with it. But it just gets so thin so quick. You can't take flyers.
Tell you what, Tank Bigsby looks pretty damn good in the 10th round. You're going to be hoping you can have Tank Bigsby.
Yeah. Right. I don't know if I got... he's round 7 for us, but whatever.
Let's recap that real quick. For listeners that may not have done a draft, 18 teams because the team's getting cut every week, right? So like Dex is saying, the talent gets watered down super quickly. After about round 5, you're into backups in a lot of cases where you better know the depth chart. You better have it pulled up and have a decent idea who's going to be in the game more snaps than not. So
yeah, I mean, there's going to be 252 players drafted in a guillotine league. Most charts
and it's
stop
super
at
critical
200.
that you're using an up-to-date depth chart. Make sure that you're not using one from, don't use the magazine you bought 6 weeks ago.
That June edition is outdated.
Yeah. Projections right after the NFL draft, not good.
No.
A lot of injuries happen. A lot of spots are won and lost in camps and preseason games.
Yeah. Right. The other main theme I want to hit on is the new toy syndrome. So the rookies, and there's a couple that are good, right? Don't get me wrong. So Ashton Genty, awesome. Omarion Hampton should be awesome. Not too worried about them. They have defined roles as the number 1 back on their teams for teams that are going to run a ton. So those aren't as risky as like a Cam Scatterboo, for example. I mean, Tyrone Tracy's the number 1. And he hasn't necessarily locked down the 2 spot. We think it will be him. And he may get goal line and he should get passes, but he's also missed all of training camp. So that's one you want to stay away from. Do not draft him as one of your top 8 starters. That'd be stupid because he may not play. He may not have much of a role. So beware the rookie hype. Last year, if you were the one that did Marvin Harrison Jr., you got cut week 1. He was widely available in week 2. And there's a ton of those. Ladd McConkey, you're like, but he was awesome last year, Dex. The end of the year, he wasn't anything the first 7 weeks, and he was available every single week. So don't get yourself in a situation where you're drafting the upside early instead of someone like more steady Eddie. So
Proven
take that
veterans.
household name. Yeah, proven
Yep.
veterans over the flashy rookie will almost always work, because here's what's fun. You'll probably get him again, because in Guillotine, the team that drafted that guy and took a chance, they come back up. You'll be able to bid on them probably
Right.
2 or 3 times in a season.
Those
So
flashy rookies will be coming into the free agent pool from that team that stretched
it
to get them
is.
way too early.
And once they hit their stride in week 8, perfect. Go get them.
Yeah.
That's another aspect of Guillotine that I think we should mention too, is that the team you draft is rarely the team you end up with.
Hardly
Well,
ever.
For
It
sure.
will not be the team you end up with. You might keep 3 of your 14 players,
Yeah.
Right.
something like that.
As we go on through the season, we'll talk about in-game players to target, and we'll look at the chopped list. We'll kind of highlight who those might be, what to spend on those for your auction bucks. I mean, teaser alert, it's not going to be 1,000.
It's also what makes it so fun, though. If you're
Absolutely.
playing Guillotine, it's stressful, but as the season goes on, your team gets better. You're like in a traditional fantasy league, you're fighting off injuries. Nobody's losing players. So the only thing you're adding is like, third string guys that you're trying to hope, like your team is not going to get better most of the time
Yeah.
in a traditional league. Your team is always getting better in a Guillotine league.
And there's always this saltiness when you pick up the dude, like you get the Travis Kelce or the Saquon Barkley or the Josh Allen, and the guy just lost by 2 points and his head's chopped off. Like, you immediately forget that team ever existed. You're like, oh, how much is Josh Allen? It is kind of a funny way of just, it's a totally different league and experience on waiver wires, because, oh my gosh, there's talent each and every one. And each
Yeah.
week it gets better. It's crazy.
Every week there's a new first round pick, right? That's out there circulating, and you got to decide how much is that guy worth to my team, right? And draft strategy is great, but bidding strategy is kind of where you win and lose,
It is.
right? And your team will morph throughout the season. So
Yeah, and then lastly, I want to talk about what position, right? So if we're looking like, oh, do we do running back, wide out? Or do we take a quarterback early if they're there? Like, what do you do in Guillotine? All right, so here's the deal. Standard typical lineup is quarterback. So it's not a 2-quarterback league. So for those of you that do that, that's not what it is. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wideouts, 1 tight end, and 2 flex. So at most you can start 4 wide receivers, or like I was doing last year at the beginning of the year, I started 4 tight ends. So if you get high enough tight ends because they fall, there's more value to them, you can try that out. But if there's one position you can totally kind of slough, I think it's quarterback. So there's so many quarterbacks. Even the 18th quarterback doesn't really suck. I mean, if you're starting Jordan Love or CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, they're not generally going to kill you by themselves. I mean, would you like to have Allen, Jackson, Daniels, Burrow, Hurts? You sure would. But
Yeah.
also, if you draft those guys, you are passing up some excellent talent that is probably less, I don't know, because it gets sketchy quick when you get to the next wideout down or the next running back down. The drop-off isn't as much for quarterbacks. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think there's a lot of strategy in knowing where you're drafting and like you just said, how quickly the talent falls off at each position.
Yeah.
Right. So tier 1, that's an easy choice. I could take any tier 1 player and be happy with that. But if I'm looking at my next pick, and that's, 7 picks away or whatever, and there's only 2 tight ends available until it's just fall off a cliff tight end,
Yeah.
maybe I take a chance and draft a tight end, because I'm betting that one of my 4 wide receivers will be there when it comes back around or something. So to me, it's looking at the gaps in who's left and seeing where you've got a clear fall off and what's probably going to be available for your next pick and what's not. Depending on where you're drafting, I think Chiz is going to talk about kind of in the middle where you've got maybe 10 to 12 picks between your next selection.
Yeah.
Or if you're on either end where you got picks maybe 3 or 4 picks apart instead of 10 or 12.
Yeah, I think that's a good way too, Pru. So when I'm looking at my draft list, I'm going to be looking at who So if you're in the middle, right, there might be 18 picks until you pick again. If you are at the bookends, there's 34 to 36 picks until you
Yes.
get to pick again. So I look at the group of players, all of those. I don't really care which one's which, because out of that group, which one do I think is going to help my team as I'm drafting better? I'm not going to worry about average draft position. So many people get wrapped around the axle on that. Who cares? Which one out of that next group? If you could just gun to the head, right? Who are you going to pick? Just pick the guy you like and that you need on your team. If that's a quarterback or a tight end or a wide receiver, and you can see the tiers dropping fast, and you know you might miss a whole other tier before it gets back to you, take the guy you like that's going to have a high floor, be consistent, trusted vet, and just go from there. So I think that's kind of the smart way to do it. So, Chiz, do you agree with the positions that you can probably slough a quarterback, or are you totally different?
Yeah, I would say the only time you need to worry about it, if you have one of those first 3 or 4 picks, you're going to have the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson debate in your head. Outside of that, because here's the deal, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, I mean, those guys, they're going to win leagues for people. If you can't get one of those guys, you shouldn't even think about it in the first round. You really shouldn't think about quarterback in the first round because they're all the same. You only need one. Once everybody gets a quarterback, they're not worried about getting a second quarterback probably
Until later.
very late, if at all, because sometimes it's not even worth doing a second quarterback. So the drop off, like you guys said, when it comes to those quality wide receivers or running backs, or just the guys that are going to get the touches,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
which is more important, is like, hey, is this guy going to get a touch? Even if he's not great, if he's going to get a lot of touches, that opportunity is going to equal points and scoring for you. So I definitely think, I'm always concerned. And that's why I think our tiers are really important for you. If you're looking at when you're drafting, pay attention to those tiers because Pru said, hey, what's that next drop off? Right? If you're looking at it going to that next tier down in our rankings, you probably want to pick in
One of
that
those
position
guys.
at that point.
Yep. I agree.
One other thought on quarterbacks, like you just mentioned, Chiz, nobody's really looking at a second quarterback because by the time bye weeks are a thing, there's 4 of the top 18 quarterbacks available,
There's a lot.
right? So
Yeah.
you've
Tons.
got choices before you really need a backup, even if you have an early bye week for your main quarterback.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
the other thing I would say when you're talking draft strategy. It's not a make or break, but pay attention to bye weeks. And what I mean by that is if
Yeah.
you've got a toss up between a couple guys that you're thinking about,
That's right.
and one of them's got a week 5 bye week and one of them's got a week 12 bye week, take the week 12 bye week. Like that's your tie break right there.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
you may not be
Especially if you
alive
like them both the same.
that long. Yes, if you've got a tie break to make, use the bye week as your tie break because you may not be in the league that late. So you got to be thinking like, how do I survive past week 5, right? So that's always a good thing to use as well.
Absolutely. All right. So I want to move on from draft strategy, and I want to go into some players that are kind of moving up and moving down the rankings as we go through this preseason schedule. Now, I want to get your takes on a couple of them because we talked about nearly all of these guys at some point, either in our division kind of rookie updates, just talking about the team, who they're competing with, and everything else. So, people that have fallen completely off the list. Chris Godwin is on the PUP list. Conversely, Emeka Egbuka now solidified as the starting wide receiver for Tampa Bay, opposite Mike Evans. And McMillan's probably going to go right back into that slot role he finished in last year where he was really good. I think both those dudes just took pretty large jumps on our draft list for sure. But you just said don't trust rookies, go proven vets. I know. But I'm also watching Egbuka, and I'm watching this Tampa Bay offense that was really good last year. But Dak, the offensive coordinator left. He's in Jacksonville now. What are you doing? You're trying to get me set up for failure. Holy crap, he's looked good. Emeka Egbuka looks really good.
He looks really good.
He's going to be the beneficiary of Chris Godwin going on the PUP. And even when Godwin comes back, I don't know if Egbuka is going to get bumped off that slot. He looks tremendous. He is a seasoned. He'd played all 4 years at Ohio State. So unlike these other dudes jumping after 2, looking at you, Marvin Harrison Jr., he actually played a full college slate. And as we were kind of mocking some of these quarterbacks that played 8 years in college, they tend to come out a little more seasoned and look a little more pro ready.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of different. They don't have to get as much seasoning. So I think that is one of them for Egbuka. Do you guys agree? And would you move him up your own personal draft list based on that Godwin injury alone? Or are you more fearful of the rookie? Like, which way are you leaning?
I would not replace him in Chris Godwin's spot in my draft order, but he definitely deserves a bump. Because again, it's like we mentioned earlier, it's all about time on the field. Guys that play more snaps get more targets. That's just how it works. So anybody that's named a starter will be on the field more often than not, and they're by default going to get more opportunities.
Yeah, I agree. Chiz, are you on the same page?
Yeah, I am. I am very fearful of early season injuries. So for instance, a great example of one that I was looking at earlier today that I dropped down on my list. Jaden Reed. Why? 2 words. Walking boot. Okay, these are the scariest words in fantasy football to me. Walking boot. Walking boot never is like, oh, everything's great, I'm going to play next week, right? So he's in a walking boot right now.
Yeah. Rarely
and when
is
I
that
see
a
walking
good thing.
boot, I go, yeah, that's a long-term injury, and
Hard
even
pass.
if you play,
Hard
you're not going to
pass.
be right. So he's dropping down my list. So any of these guys that are nicked up or like already got Q's by their names,
like real Q's, not the Tom Brady Q that was up there for a decade.
Right? Like these are real Q's. And I mean, in the words of the prophet Ferris Bueller, life moves pretty fast, so if you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. Right. So you got to make sure that you're looking around and seeing who's hurt, who's nicked up, because especially in week 1 games, they're not throwing these guys out there that are like not 100%. They don't need to. Everybody else is 100%. So they're like, we'll bench them. So guys that you think, Darnell Mooney for the Falcons, he's had shoulder injury. He's week to week.
Yeah.
Week to week is a little scary too. So I'm watching him too. And he might not be a guy I bump down a little bit on my list because I'm like, is he going to be 100% for the first month? Probably not if he's week to week, right? So
I don't like week to week. Day to day, I can get around and feel a little more comfortable with. But my gosh,
So what about a guy like Joe Mixon that is a very good running back, scores lots of points, but is right now listed as maybe he's not going to play week 1?
Yeah, you can't risk that.
Right. Do you just pass on him entirely and wait till somebody else bites?
For a guy like Mixon, I'm out until like week or round 10 plus.
Yeah, someone will take him before so I don't have to worry about it. So we're probably out is the short answer to that, Pru. I mean, I'll take him in like round 9 or 10 because he's not my starter anymore.
Yeah, right. I would, depending on what I've drafted, I might take him with my 8th pick.
Mm-hmm.
If I think I can cover it. If I've already got 2 running backs or something and I think he's just a bonus.
Yeah.
That would totally come down to mid-draft choice based on who else I've gotten.
Yeah.
But yeah, any higher than round 8 for a guy that's probably a top 3 round guy if he's healthy. Yeah, it's just too much of a risk. You got to survive week 1. That's like your main objective.
That's it.
And then you're off to the races.
So I'll throw a guy out for you guys to discuss. The guy that we openly mocked, I believe, at one point. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back for the Commanders. So you've got Brian Robinson, you got Austin Eckler, and you got Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. What do you think of the rookie Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt?
Number 1, he needs a shorter name.
Yeah, I know. He's like the law firm junior.
Yeah, let's call him the law firm.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
MVS. Like, they all get a short nickname. Yeah, I think that's what he's going for. But So here's the deal with him, right?
There's
So
no
Brian
tread
Rob-
on the tires
no tread
with
because
Krosky Merritt. He's zero
He's
wear and tear
fresh.
on this guy.
he is fresh. He's like Jadon Blue. He took all of college off, all of high school off. He's just ready to play
Right.
eventually. Yeah, so it's one of those guys. But I think the issue with him is we don't really know. He had a semi-decent week 2 preseason game with splitting carries. I don't know what that means. Eckler didn't play at all. You got to believe, good, trusted, crusty veteran. Why will it not be Austin Eckler to be that first runner-up, first guy up? I don't think you're going to put a rookie in front of.
There's rumors of Robinson being traded even. Like that he's
that sounds
potentially
like it's actively, which where did that come from? Like I thought he was in camp doing well, and the guy they're going to lead the offense, and all of a sudden Brian Robinson is on the trade block. Like
so
him
do you guys are you
Henderson,
staying away?
Henderson, yeah.
Are you staying away from the Commanders' backfield?
This definitely hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to take a guy when you don't know where he'll be.
I mean, I took Brian Robinson off the list. He's not one of my 252 at the moment. He might be 252. I think I put him dead last. Like he probably is going to go somewhere, but who's he starting for with not knowing any plays? And like, no way. Like someone can take the chance on him, and when they get cut, if he's in a good situation and doing well, then you can bid on him. So again, going back to that, just you don't need to do risk. You go anti-risk with your guillotine draft,
right?
And you improve your team as the season goes on. So I think to answer your question directly, I'm not going to avoid it. I'm like if I'm taking anybody, it's Eckler, but he's not going to be one of those first 5-round guys.
He's not in your 8. He's not in your 8. Is he? Are you taking the first 8 rounds?
I'd probably put him in the first 8 because he was going to get
in the first 8.
We'll go back to Eckler. Would I take him in the first 8? Yes, because even if Brian Robinson was there, Eckler is still going to get work. He's still going to be a third down guy. He's still going to be goal line.
Okay.
He's going to have a lot of opportunities. So now he's at least going to have that role, but he might have more. So Eckler's gone up for me from where he was because I had him lower because Brian Robinson was going to take the lion's share.
Yeah.
But so Eckler went up, but not that high. I mean, not going to be stupid about it. But Brian Robinson off the list because you're not even on a team, bro.
Right.
I mean, he's on a team, but he's soon to not be on the Commanders team.
Right.
Then you don't even know what role, what offense, what's his shit. I don't even know. I don't even know what you do with that.
He's still in my list. You know, he's not. I gotta believe that anywhere he goes, he's going to be the starter. No team is going to want to trade for a backup at the start of a season.
It sounds like a committee to me, no matter where he goes. Not a lot of teams are looking for a bell horse cow at this time of the season.
I don't know.
That's true.
He already was not, in my top tier 1 or tier 2 running back list. So where he's at in my rankings, I don't know that he loses a whole lot. He definitely loses some.
Yeah.
But I got to believe he's still going to get enough touches to justify an RB2 on somebody's team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Back to your other question, Chisholm. So would I pick a Cleveland back? It's kind of the same situation. You got to believe Jerome Ford's going to get carries, Quinshon Judkins get carries, and Dylan Sampson are all going to be somehow involved. But until you see it, I mean, I think you can draft him in like your later rounds. But as a top 8, boy, I don't know who I'd want in a top 8
tough, right?
Of those guys. I mean, they all have potential upside, right? I think Judkins is probably the smartest one, but Dylan Sampson's looked really good. But as we talked about in our rookie preview, he's the youngest kid in the draft, and he fumbled a lot for Tennessee.
Yep.
I don't know how that's going to play in an offense that needs the ball. It's not like Cleveland's going to be a juggernaut. I think that naming Flacco as a starter is huge. And frankly, with that, I bumped Njoku up a couple slots. I think he's now way better because when he played with him 2 years ago, he was phenomenal.
Is Cleveland, along those same lines, is Cleveland in general the biggest fantasy question mark team of anyone? Like, is there another team that has more like question marks of like, where would I, like, do you have anybody, maybe Njoku is like, maybe Judy are guys that you would say are like cemented in as like you draftable guys?
Absolutely. I like both those guys.
Yeah, I think they're they're probably maybe Indianapolis would be the only other one
That's
that
another
comes to
good
mind.
one.
Yeah.
Because in Indianapolis, you basically just got like what your running back who you draft and
You got
maybe a tight end, Taylor Warren,
Taylor, Tyler Warren, and
Tyler, yeah.
Tyler Warren, Tyler, yeah, whatever.
And then Jonathan Taylor. I think
Taylor,
it's what you're
Jonathan
going with.
Taylor,
Yeah.
Tyler Warren, Jonathan Tyler Warren.
and
I
then
think the other,
you got receiver by committee, right? There's like four
yeah,
guys that are all going to get
Ew.
3 targets a game or something.
yeah, hard pass. I mean, the Saints, you're only taking Kamara, and you'll
Yeah.
take
That's
a
probably
Olave
right.
at some point. But good God, even if it's Rattler or Shuck, that is going to be an abysmal team.
I think it's going to end up. By the way, on those lines, I think it's going to end up being Rattler. Shuck did such a horrible job as his first, real start that I'm like,
he wasn't ready. I mean, they drafted him because he's
Surprise!
going behind Derek Carr. He was supposed to be learning from Derek Carr, not learning from Spencer Rattler. So that's going to be fun all by itself.
So here's another name I'm going to throw out. Alexander Madison underwent season-ending neck surgery. So that propels Jalen Wright probably to the number 2 back. How are you thinking of Jalen Wright now? Is he somebody that's draftable?
This is for Miami, correct?
Yep.
Yes, sorry, for Miami, for the Dolphins.
Let me take this one first. Yes, he's draftable, but man, the other guy who's looked really good was another one of our rookie kind of highlights. Ollie Gordon, the second.
Yeah.
Remember, Ollie Gordon the first, we didn't really believe much in.
He was
but
not
Ollie
that
Gordon
good.
the second, we kind of liked. And he is, because here's the other deal. Here's why I like him. Devon Achane is also dealing with a soft tissue lower body injury in his weeks or days. That's kind of vague. I mean, at least he didn't say months. He should be ready for week 1. I'm like, so your top guy is not going to practice for a couple of weeks? You're just going to get him ready for week 1 that way? So Achane's gone down my list because I can't. What if he doesn't play week 1 and I spend my first round pick, a top 12 capital pick, on a dude who ends up like being a game time scratch because during warm-ups he tweaks his, I assume it's a calf or something. I don't even know what his lower body soft tissue injury is.
Tissue.
But you can kind of imagine
tissue, coach.
even if he plays, there's no way he's doing a full 100% game, taking all the carries and catches. So I think Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon both will actually get a little more play because of that. I think Jalen Wright been in the offense for a year, probably will get more. He should be the lead back. But Ollie Gordon, man, he looked pretty good. He's looking all right.
Tough on the goal line. He could steal a touchdown week 1.
Yep.
Yeah. Soft tissue injuries, I mean, while they're not as bad as the hard tissue injuries, I do feel like, they still tend to nag. So, you don't have to put a screw in
soft tissue.
Much better than my hard tissue. My hard tissue feels good today. It's the soft tissue that's not doing so well.
Yeah, damn soft tissue. That's just what's up. All right. I want to talk to you about 2 other dudes. They're high up on a lot of people's lists. And Achane already talked about, so he's one I'm waffly. He's trending down. If given a decision point between someone and him, I'm probably going to bump and take the other guy. So that being said, the other one that I'm worried about, and it's not because of him so much, Puka Nacua. Man, Matt Stafford is finally practicing with a back injury, and he's like 58 years old with a bad back to start the year. How many cortisone shots can you throw in that thing? And what's the first sack going to feel like when he just gets thunder punched onto the turf? God, man, I knew doing burpees for me hurts getting back up, but this isn't a burpee, man. This is like a 300-pound human squishing you. How's your back going to come back? And if you have Jimmy Garoppolo, your now first overall pick has Jimmy Garoppolo thrown to him. Ask Devontae Adams how that felt last year on the Raiders. It was so bad he left. He went to the Jets. It was so bad. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. You got a good point, Dex. But go Google the Matt Stafford dislocated shoulder touchdown pass.
Yeah, right.
Matt Stafford is a tough dude. Right.
He is a warrior. He does have a couple more weeks to get ready. But does it give you any pause? Do you drop Puka down on your wide receiver list? Would you drop behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, Justin Jefferson? If you had him up above any of those guys, if I have the opportunity, I'm probably taking one of those other guys.
I think he probably drops below Nico Collins for sure for me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he drops below Brian Thomas Jr. or not, but there's probably 5 or 6 guys I would take ahead of him now.
Yeah. And the thing is, before I had him, I think 4th. And now I have him, I think, 8th. Just because Matt Stafford's back. And again, I don't want to be the guy who's like Jimmy Garoppolo comes in second quarter, week 1, and throws a widowmaker out to Puka. And now he's knocked out and concussed. I'm like, no, what happened? Jiminy Christmas. Now my head's chopped. And there's Puka Nacua available for everybody. But I'm watching and probably wearing a Hooters dress next year or something. I don't want that crap.
That's right.
So I got to make sure I have safety with the person throwing the ball and catching the ball with my first overall pick.
Right.
It might be too much, but I get nervous on these.
This type of stuff comes into play when you have like let's say you got the 12th pick in the draft, and right up until the draft, you have no prayer of getting Puka Nacua on your team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You're like, he's not even on my radar because there's no way he falls to number 12.
Yeah.
And then the draft happens and you're pick 12 and it's like, okay, now my choices are Lad McConkey or Puka Nacua.
Drake London, Jackson Smith and Jigba. That'd be the next people up in the tier about
Or do I dare take the first tight end off the board or something like that? Like that can happen, right?
Yep.
So don't write off anybody because you never know who the guys in front of you have marked down on their list because of some weird thing. Nothing to do with Puka Nacua in this case. It's his quarterback that's causing concerns.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right.
Weird things happen.
It's all about time and situation, right? So it's like he looks like value at 12. So I probably pull the trigger at 12. So here's a guy that I'm going to speak some blasphemy in most fantasy circles, but here's a guy that I am now dropping, and everyone's going to go, "What, Chiz? What are you thinking?" Travion Henderson. Okay, I am dropping Travion Henderson because here's why. Everyone else is so high on Travion Henderson right now. Like, he had the 100-yard return. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's the greatest." It's not that I don't like Travion Henderson, but everybody's way too excited about him. So he's moved up way too far on everyone's boards relative to, I think, his value. I think everyone's got the hype about Travion Henderson. They're going to overreach for Travion Henderson because of these preseason things. And the preseason doesn't matter that much. Like, at the end of the day, like, is Travion Henderson going to be returning kicks in the games? Probably not. He's probably not. I mean, he might, but he probably isn't going to. Is he going to get as many reps
probably
as he's
not
getting in the preseason? Probably not.
But maybe.
Primo example of the preseason value not counting. Sky Moore took a punt return 88 yards and got himself traded.
It is, which may be good.
Exactly.
I don't even know if it is good or not, but it'd be interesting. So that's a valid point. I like it, but the problem is, if you're New England and you're Mike Vrabel and it's just lumbering, fumble Ruski, Riandre Stevenson, or pure electric,
or Ramondre,
hot freaking sauce, Ramondre, or Travion Henderson, is there really a question if you're the coach?
Just do some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Dex. It'll cover it right up.
There it is. So Henderson just has so much more talent than Ramondre. You know who I'm talking about. Mr. Stevenson, if you please. So I think Travion is not going to fall down lists like you think, but beware the rookie, right? We don't know his role yet. In reality, Mike Vrabel, I mean, I would like to think he's going to use the best talented person back there. And by all accounts, apparently Travion Henderson's not a bad pass blocker, which normally is the reason rookies don't get much action at the beginning of the year. Apparently he's pretty good. I don't know. He was always just taking it to the house every time I watched a Travion Henderson highlight. But at the end of the day, if he can pass block and not fumble, like, the guy ahead of him or even with him, I think he could be a pretty good pick still. And maybe you can get value because the Chisholms of the world will drop him on the draft list. And now you can get Trevion. If you're going beyond Trevion or, I don't know, Breece Hall, that's not a hard question for me. So we'll see.
Not that I don't like him.
That's
it's
how,
just, I think
speaking of
he's
Breece
overhyped.
Hall, yeah, no, I hear you. He is. He's getting a lot of love, a lot of early love. But for Breece Hall, who's not getting any love, and now is kind of in a committee, and the Jets look like they're going to run 99.6% of the time is going to be their play call, is running and running and running, and it's going to be Breece Hall, Braylon Allen. I think, is it Isaiah Davis, that their other guy, the third dude? And then Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, for quarterback running, for sure. But I think all three of those running backs are going to get carries. Yep. And so, it is Justin Fields running too? Well, I think he might be.
Justin Fields.
Don't forget about Justin Fields.
That's it. Yeah, he's going. But Breece Hall, he's probably still going to be the first one out of the backfield. But as far as is he going to get more than 33% of the rushing yards or carries? I don't know. And Braylon Allen looked so good last year, kind of filling in. That's a two-headed monster, probably a three-headed monster now with Justin Fields calling his own number. Breece Hall's gone down my list. Has he gone down your list? Let's go to Brazil first and try Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, see if we can get an answer on this one.
Yes, I'm anticipating the question
Breece
ahead
Hall.
of time. So I hope that the question was about Breece Hall. And if so, he's fallen down my list.
There we go. Pruitt, in the current time zone and current plane of existence that we're in, what do you think about Breece Hall?
Using the theory of relativity.
Let's go, Einstein.
I think you're right. I think Braylon Allen took a step up last year. I think 2 years ago, his coach didn't have much confidence. Last year, I think that went up a lot more. The short answer is yes. I think Breece Hall's touches are going to take a hit this year.
Agree. All right. So a couple other dudes I want to hit on for upside. And we talked about Marion Hampton getting the starting. He's been named the starter. Najee Harris is not starting for the Chargers. I think that ups him right away. All you got to do is watch any preseason game, any highlight. Yeah, I think that's guarantee.
So did everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the one I like that we talked about. Again, going back to the rookie side, but only because he's cemented a role. And for Houston Texans, the number 2 wideout is Jaden Higgins. So out of Iowa State,
who I like is Jaden Higgins.
And Jaden Higgins. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is going to be a fun one to edit.
Yeah, Jaden Higgins locked down that second spot, and C.J. Stroud is very good at hitting all his wideouts. He's making basically 3 wideouts a couple years ago, all valid fantasy targets. And Jaden Higgins, like we talked about, he's big, and he's fast, and he's got great hands. He's going to be an end zone target. It's going to be him and Nico Collins taking stuff, and then when you configure that Joe Mixon probably isn't going to be starting the year, maybe. I know it's a big maybe out here. I mean, at the time of this recording, Joe Mixon is highly doubtful and questionable for week 1, despite reports that he may be ready for week 1. I don't think so. So I think especially early, Jaden Higgins is going to give you more looks, and it's going to be Nico Collins first all day. Don't get me wrong, but Jaden Higgins is going to get plenty in that 2 slot. Do you guys like the role that Jaden Higgins has carved out in Houston? Pruitt, do you like Jaden Higgins?
Yes and no. I think there's a clear separation in my mind between the wide receivers drafted in the first round this year, the McMillans and Egbukas, and then the rest, right? So he'll get a lot of targets.
I agree with that.
I think he's got good hands where he'll make several catches and whatever, but I know Chisholm's not super great confidence with rookie wide receivers in general. So I would say proceed with caution. He'll definitely get more looks, but he's still a rookie wide receiver, and he's not a highly touted one as much as McMillan and Egbuka were.
But he's looked good. I'm telling you, he's in my, where do I got him at? I got him in round 7, so I have him as one of my last starters.
Yeah,
kind of if he gets to that point.
I think that's I'm thinking I might go for him in even around 6 or 5, depending on how wide receivers are going.
Yeah, depending on how it plays out. Yeah, no, I agree. He's definitely subject to moving up, but he was 10, and then once he locked down a spot, I moved him up a few rounds. So that's a lot of picks.
Starters. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, starters should go the first 8 rounds,
Yep.
right? And you play for a team with a throwing quarterback like Stroud. Yeah, I can see him as a 6th or 7th round pick.
All right. And here's a trivia question for you guys. Who is the starting running
Pru.
back for the Denver Broncos? Let's start down in Brazil so you can start this one on your own.
The starting running back for the Denver Broncos, I believe, was the question. If I heard that correctly,
it is.
I was gonna go with Terrell Davis, but instead I'm gonna go J.K. Dobbins.
Ding, 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 ding. It is J.K. Dobbins. Everybody likes R.J. Harvey, shiny new toy, but J.K. Dobbins, crusty old veteran, great pass blocker. Sean Payton loves him. He is someone you can get a great value on, I believe, on draft day, because there's still, I think the average draft position, Harvey's still going ahead of him, which is kind of amazing to me since
it's wild.
J.K. Dobbins has been number one on the depth chart all preseason. It hasn't changed. Doesn't matter what site you go to. In fact, he's like 5th on the Denver Broncos depth chart. I think Sean Payton is being kind of an A, but in reality, he's probably still going to be 2nd or 3rd at minimum.
Yeah,
but he's not 1, and that's something to take away. And then I can't remember what show I was listening to, but regardless, they were highlighting that Sean Payton, even with Alvin Kamara back in the day, that dude didn't start right away. Alvin Kamara, obviously, clearly on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and was really good right away. Did not get a lot of touches the first 6 weeks or so of his Saints career. So keep that in mind. Sean Payton now with Denver Broncos has another pretty good shiny toy. I don't know if he's Hall of Fame talent. I mean, don't get me wrong there, but he's obviously pretty good. But J.K. Dobbins was having a great year last year until he got hurt again. Weird. We've never said those words before. J.K. Dobbins hurt, but is what it is.
It's all about the circle of trust, Dex.
Circle of trust. Dude, that's
J.K. Dobbins is in the circle of trust.
He's in it.
Got to earn it.
And by that, he's in my circle of trust. So J.K. Dobbins has ratcheted up my rankings quite a bit. All right. The last one I wanted to talk about is one we all love to hate, and we all love to draft, and we all love him when he does well. DK Metcalf, the number 1 in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers feeds the beast. He throws to the number 1s more than like anybody. And he's going to be there. Are you really throwing a Calvin Austin? Come on, man. I think DK is going to get a ton. He's going to have his 2 tight ends. You got John Yu and Freiermuth that'll be running routes as well. But DK, are you going to trust him this time? It's the Lucy football, man. Charlie Brown's coming up to kick this thing, and you are Charlie Brown getting ready to draft DK Metcalf. Do you pull the trigger in this situation? Chiz, what do you think about the football? Are you taking DK?
Absolutely. I'm taking him. I'm all in, and here's why. Number 1, Aaron Rodgers throws to the number 1 receiver. I think you may have said that earlier. I don't know. It was delayed on my end, but I think you said that. Number 2, the other thing I like about DK Metcalf, he's mercurial. And if there's one thing we at the Shrewdness like, it's a mercurial wide receiver, and he fits the bill. Therefore, I'm drafting DK. I like it. I think he's going to be a true one. I think they're going to feed him. I'm not afraid of him at all.
Nice. Pruitt.
I would definitely take him. I think you're going to see Jonnu Smith step up as the number 1 tight end soon enough in Pittsburgh.
Ooh, okay. There's a bold prediction.
But I think you're going to see DK get fed because unlike wide receivers, Aaron Rodgers does not throw to his tight ends nearly often enough, in my opinion. So I think he's going to have to learn to trust Jonnu Smith because I think he's the 2nd best receiver on the field for Pittsburgh this year.
Yep.
But yeah, he's going to feed DK a lot in the early weeks for sure.
Awesome. So that's the list of dudes I had. Are there any other ones you guys wanted to touch on as kind of risers or fallers that you need to hit on before this draft weekend comes up? Because lots of people, to include myself, are having their first drafts this weekend.
I'm just going to throw out a question mark for you guys from Brazil. Scary Terry.
Oh boy.
Where is he on your list? Where is he right now on your list? How confident are you in drafting him? Are you drafting him in the top 8 rounds if he falls to you? Where do you pull the trigger?
Man, you're right, because in 2 days, I'm going to have to make this decision, which will be basically the day this is released, if you're listening to this. So Terry McLaurin, at this moment, I dropped him down to around 50th. So I got him in the pocket of Tedero McMillan, Jerry Jeudy, George Pickens, Marvin Harrison Jr., kind of in that range.
It's round 3 or
Fourth
4.
round.
It is. It's the end of 3. But man, if I don't get news, I'm probably taking one of those other guys until the next round, in which case I'll be with Stephon Diggs, Jameson Williams, Jacoby Myers, Calvin Ridley. Man, I could probably let him slide one more round, but if he goes past round 5, this is the Dunzeys, Waddle, Travis Hunter, Pearsall's, Goldens. I'd probably take him there. But
Okay.
it's too, you can't draft a 0.
But
You
you're
can't draft a
saying
0.
like you're saying like you may pull the trigger in the 6th or later. Pru, how about you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about right. I would consider taking him late in the 4th round, depending on who I've already drafted. That's probably not true. I probably wouldn't have a strong enough team yet to know. Yeah, 5th round
There's
seems
that
about right.
0 looming.
I know,
I know.
You can't get a goose, man. You can't go goose.
If I have a Lamar or Josh Allen on my team,
Yeah.
maybe he's my 4th pick at the very tail end of the 4th round.
Which means you have no wide receivers probably.
Right.
Yeah, I'd
You
have a quarterback
and a running back and a tight end.
Yeah.
If I've got Josh Allen, Jamar Chase, and Bijan Robinson, I'll take them in the 5th round.
I'll let him
I'm
ride,
being
baby.
realistic, fellas.
I agree.
Yeah, I think
I don't blame you.
probably fifth round would be the earliest. I think 4th round would be too tough.
Now let's say they sign a deal tomorrow. Dex, how far does he go up?
So for me, he pops up into he moves up about 6 spots or so overall. So I probably have him right around the Cortland Sutton, Xavier Worthy, and DK Metcalf kind of area, which I think is kind of right where he would be. So again, I have him where I think he would be anyway. So that's the thing. I have him 50. I think that's probably about where he is. But it's because I'm a little nervous. I know the other guys are locked down number 1s. But if he actually signs and is in camp, I'll probably bump him up ahead of them because I had him ahead of him before all that. So he could even be end of round 2. I mean, he was unbelievable last year. If you had Scary Terry on your roster, you were getting max targets every week, yards, touchdowns. Yep. He's incredible.
I mean, that's who Jaden Daniels is going to go to, right? He's going to throw to him. He's there.
Yep.
If Brian Robinson exits stage right,
yeah,
he's going to get fed.
That's what I think. All right, so that's all the dudes I got. If you guys have any other last ones you want to talk about before we head off?
I'll throw one more for the homers out there. Rashee Rice, are you touching him with a 10-foot pole?
I am. I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, where?
Where's the magic question?
Like at what point?
No earlier than round 3, or sorry, earlier than 4. So I would consider taking him in the 4th round. And here's why: is because you have at least 3 weeks that you get to use him, and that means there's 3 teams worth of wide receivers that are becoming available.
Well, that's a good strategy. I like that.
So you want to blow your fab budget early to replace him for his multi-week suspension coming in October.
Well, I didn't say I was going to jump at the first wide receiver that becomes available.
Because it could be CeeDee Lamb after that Philly game. You might be able to get CeeDee.
You got 12 receivers that come available, and I would almost guarantee you that at least one of them will go for $1.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. There's going to be some tier 3 wide receivers that will fill in just fine. And if Rashee Rice is only out for 4 games, then maybe that's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that. That's a unique situation.
That is a unique situation. So I don't even know. I think he's probably not going to be on my team because I'm not going to be able to pull the trigger that someone else will like him more than I will. And just being fine with 3 weeks. I'm just not fine with 3 weeks. I would like to be able to just kind of let it ride for a little bit and not have to worry about it. Because I think this Xavier Worthy is going to probably get those they're not going to just suddenly change the offense. So I think Xavier Worthy is going to be the number 1. And I think they're going to treat him that way. Because why would you do the offense to Rashee Rice just to switch it? like at the end of September. I think that'd be weird. And Andy, we trust,
Good
man.
point.
I don't know what he's going to do, but I just think you'd want to have more consistency and then add Rasheed back. And he's going to be a part of the offense. Absolutely. But are you going to focus on him? Just when you know he's gone week 4? That'd be tough for me to do. So I'm probably not going to get him because I'll have him too late. But I'd probably take him, like, again, once you start looking at these weird guys in round 7 and 8, I'd put him as my starter knowing he'd be down there, but he's not going to be my top wideout. He shouldn't be any of my 1 or 2 wideouts. So that's where I'm at on it. Great question from Brazil, though. That's a tough one.
Hey, man, Brazil, you have time to think. You know, you're away from the hustle and bustle. These are things that you think about. I was just sitting out as I was eating my Brazilian steak tonight, and I was like, where would I draft Rashee Rice?
Yeah.
You know, these are the things that I've been pondering down here.
I got it. Did they cut it off the stick right next to you? Just flop it on your plate right outside?
Right.
There we go.
Totally.
God, that's a legit restaurant then.
Right there. Yeah. It was legit. It was yummy. I have the meat sweats. As we speak.
All right. Well, boys, I think that's going to work. We'll update our cheat sheet online, so please check that out. We'll have all our episodes up, and if you have any questions, just put in some comments or send us a message so we have a way to get a hold of you there. We got a couple more shorts we got in there too, kind of highlighting some of the guys we're talking about. But other than that, good luck to you this weekend in your drafts. Hope to hear about some success early, and we hope our list helps you out. So do well. Don't panic. Don't rate rookies too high. Be smart. Take those crusty veterans. And all of that just means staying shrewd. So till next time, stay shrewd.